Buddhaṃ 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 Vande Dhammaṃ 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 Vande Sanghaṃ 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 Vande Buddhaṃ Dhammaṃ Sanghaṃ Vande. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, homage to the Sangha, the noble disciples of the Buddha, homage to the Triple Gem. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable says, monastic friends, friends in the Dhamma, again we come to our Dhamma program. You are in the meditation retreat, which is conducted by the Sri Sampana Monastery in Germany. In this discussion, we hope to discuss one of the main doctrines in Buddhism, which is Samma Ditti, or right vision, right view. Here we hope to discuss vision, mission, and result. When we practice Dhamma, first of all, we should have vision, the correct vision, where we are going to. According to vision, we should know the path, how we reach the destination for our result. That is mission. Mission means our practice, what we should do. And also after mission, where we are going to reach our result. These three things are very important: vision, mission, and result. When you go to a place, an institute, when you enter a place, immediately you can say they have written, this is our vision and this is our mission. Have you seen? When you go to some places, institute, a university or college, you can see in front of the building, they have written our vision and our mission. Buddhism has not only vision and mission, but also we have result too. These three things are very important. The vision is very important. Vision and mission both are very important. Vision without mission is useless. Mission without vision is blind. Vision without mission is useless, and also mission without vision is blind. When you go to a new place, first of all, you should know the place where you are going to. The address is very important. Without knowing the address, you never start your journey. Similarly, before we practice our Dhamma pattern, first of all, we should know the vision. Vision is very important. And also, as soon as we know the vision, immediately we find the mission too, the path. And also very important thing, when we practice mission, gradually we can see the results. We mostly think that we receive the result end of our journey. No, dear friends. As soon as we start our journey, immediately we can see the results. When we come to practice Dhamma, we live in the present moment, and also we gradually reduce negative thoughts from our minds, and also we can see the results. Yesterday we discussed primary qualities that we should have when we practice Dhamma. In one side, we cultivate good qualities, human values. On the other side, we practice wisdom. When we see the world, a lot of people, they practice good qualities, human values, good karma. Buddhism also has explained some good qualities, human values, good karma. We should practice for our inner peace and also for the benefits of many people who are in the world. The very first quality is that gratitude. We should be grateful. Dhamma explains all the good qualities depend on gratitude. When you think your good qualities, good activities, all the qualities depend on gratitude. Even you wash your body, that is also gratitude. If you do your job very well, righteously, honestly, that is also gratitude. When you clean the place where you are in, that is also gratitude. When you help your mom, your dad, your parents, that is also gratitude. When we worship the Buddha, that is also gratitude. Buddha doesn't need your veneration, your respect. Buddha has already passed away. Buddha doesn't need flowers. When we offer flowers, we show our gratitude. Modern psychology also explains that whenever we are grateful, immediately our entire body, it changes into the correct way, into the good way. We feel happiness. And also, whenever we are grateful, we are generous. Gratitude and generosity are interrelated. When we are generous, we are grateful. When we are grateful, we are generous. If we have these qualities, we can see the results. We are happy. Our mind is so pure and calm. As a result of these qualities, gratitude and generosity, we immediately find a result, which is we meet the good association. We meet good friends in this world who know the Dhamma, who practice Dhamma. It doesn't mean that you meet good association face to face. No matter where you are in, the good friendship comes to your phone, which is Dhamma. Dhamma comes to your phone whenever, wherever you are grateful and generous. And also, when we receive the Dhamma, we understand the path. We listen to the Dhamma. We receive the Dhamma because of good friendship. We receive the good friendship because of our gratitude and generosity. When we follow these qualities, our inner peace, happiness gradually increases, gradually develops. And also, by listening Dhamma, we develop our right vision. Buddhism explains that when we come to the Dhamma, we should have main qualities. Not only generosity and gratitude, but when we listen to Dhamma, if we want to cultivate correct vision, we should have three qualities. what they are. The very first one is good attention, active listening. All of you have that quality. Good attention is very important, actively listening. We should be gently spoken. In Karaniya Sutta, there is a quality 𝒮𝓃. 𝒮𝓃 means active listening. We should be gently spoken when someone says something. That is the very first quality, is not only in the spiritual development but even the educational field. This is the very first quality. When you go forward in your education, you should have this quality. And also when you cultivate your spiritual development, here also you should have good attention. 𝒮𝓃, that is very important. Not only that, the second quality is that honesty. Honesty is very important. What is honesty that we have here? We should be honest that I have an intention in order to cultivate my mind. I want to overcome my craving, my conceit and wrong views. Trishna drushtiman, craving, conceit and wrong views. This is the honesty that we should have. And also the third one, wisdom, or we should be wise. Active listening, honesty and being wise. These three things are very important. Yesterday we discussed a very special thing, that Uppada Nirodha and Anupada Nirodha. The extinction of which is arisen, and also the extinction of what is not arisen. The cessation of what is arisen, and also the cessation of what is not arisen. That is the place where you show your wisdom. No matter you need a degree or not, even though you have no literacy, it is okay. You don't need any educational qualifications. But if you have this skill that you can understand this reality, that is good enough. Uppada Nirodha and Anupada Nirodha, the cessation of what is arisen and also the cessation of what is not arisen. Again, I explain the same thing. When we look at this clock, we think that there is a clock here. And we think one day it may be destroyed. It may be fallen. One day I will lose this. This can be divided into fundamental elements. This is the thing which is that the cessation of which is arisen. All the philosophies, scientists, all the teachings explain this reality. There is a world, that world can be destroyed anytime. There is a world, physical world outside. There are people here, they are going to old age, aging, decay, sickness, finally they die. That is the cessation of what is arisen. It can be understood by anyone. We don't need to listen to Dhamma for understanding this reality. But Buddha said very special thing. He says, when I attain enlightenment, I realized that something which I had never heard. Before the Siddhartha Bodhisattva did his great renunciation, he had understood aging, sickness, death, separation from the beloved one, associating with the unpleasant person, not receiving what wanted. These things had been understood before Buddha attained enlightenment. After he attained enlightenment, he says, I realized something that I had never heard. What is that? When we see this clock, we can contact it. We contact only 4 fundamental elements. We can't understand a clock through our eyes. We get only a color through our eyes or eye consciousness. When I understand this is as a clock, my eye form, eye consciousness, eye sensation, eye mental formations, everything has ceased. I recognize this is as a clock through my mind consciousness. When we understand the world, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. At that moment, the very first experience, the formal world has completely ceased. But because of our mind is very speedily, it is very fast, we think that we understand everything in the present moment. We can contact the world at the present moment when we recognize something. As a person, as a thing, as a color, we understand everything through our mind consciousness. Then the physical world has completely ceased, that based on our understanding at that moment. Then we see the world as empty. Then we have no attachment or any anger when we see this reality and when we live in this reality in mindfulness. This is the thing what the Dhamma explains. This is the thing what you should realize through your wisdom. If you can understand this reality, it means you are wise. It doesn't mean that immediately you attain enlightenment or you liberate from suffering. But this is just the vision. According to vision, we have to practice mission. If you can understand this reality, this difference between the cessation of which is arisen and the cessation of which is not arisen, you are wise. You are so fortunate. Again and again, you should understand whether I can understand the difference between the cessation of which is arisen and the cessation of which is not arisen. This is the place where we should be wise. Wisdom can be divided into three levels. The very first thing is by born. When you are born, you should be wise. I think all of you are wise. That is why you are listening to this message. You are so fortunate. By born, we should be wise. That is the very first thing. Even though you are born with wisdom, you can't understand this reality without you listening to this message through a person who knows this reality. You know, even Venerable Sariputta, who was the main disciple of the Buddha, you know, he also couldn't understand this reality by himself. he had to listen to this message from Venerable Assaji. The second level of wisdom is that we should listen to this message through the good association. That is the second place of our wisdom. The third one, through this understanding, we have to practice this Dhamma, and also through practicing Dhamma, we should reflect on this reality as it is again and again as Vipassana Bhavana. Practicing Vipassana Bhavana based on Samatha and Sila. Okay, now you know the three levels of wisdom. What they are? By born, we should be wise, and also through listening, we should receive this understanding. That is the second place of wisdom. And the third one, by practicing insight meditation again and again, we have to realize, we have to reflect on this reality again and again in order to be permanent in this understanding. We are discussing the qualities, primary qualities that we should have when we go forward in order to receive the vision. I explained three qualities: active listening, honesty, and being wise. Wisdom is in three levels. By born, we should be wise, and we should listen to Dhamma, and also we should reflect on it again and again as Vipassana Bhavana. When we receive the Dhamma, firstly, we should have correct vision in this present world, in this mundane level world, based on the conventional truth. That is the first vision we receive. According to 𝒮𝓃 Sutta, the great discourse of 40, which comes in Majjhima Nikaya, their right vision, Sammaditthi, is divided into mundane level Sammaditthi and supra-mundane level right understanding. Mundane level Sammaditthi means whatever we do with intention, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the same results. Whatever we do with intention, whenever our mind is impure, if we do something with an impure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the same results, negative results. Suffering follows us because of impure mind. The second one is that if our mind is pure and calm, if we do something with a pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have same results, fruitful results. Happiness follows us because of pure mind. If we have this understanding, immediately we overcome negative thoughts from our mind. Sabbha pāpassa karanam, not to do evil. And also kusala upasampada, we practice good deeds in our life. Three meritorious deeds: generosity, virtue, and meditation, especially samatha bhavana here. With this understanding, we practice three meritorious deeds: generosity, virtue, and meditation. We share something with others. We share food, clothes, residencies, shelter, lights, and vehicles. There is a very special discourse which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, 𝒃 ℓ Sutta. 𝒃 Sutta explains the givings, how we practice generosity. He who gives food gives strength. He who gives food gives strength or energy. In Pali language, it is said as Annado Balado Hoti. He who gives food, he gives strength or power, energy. And also, he who gives clothes gives beauty or good complexion. And also, he who gives a vehicle or transportation for someone gives happiness. He who gives a light, a lamp, he gives light or ice. And also, he who gives residence gives everything. If you offer someone a house, it means you have given everything for him. And also, he who gives Dhamma, he gives the deathless. He gives the way of getting rid of suffering completely. Offering food, offering clothes, offering transportation or a vehicle, offering lights, offering residence, and giving Dhamma. Among these sharings, which is the highest one, the gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. If we can show the path of the Dhamma for someone, it means we give him everything, and also we help him to overcome the samsaric circle. This is the way how we practice generosity. Not only we practice generosity, we should think it again and again as a meditation technique. You can remember a lot of generosities that you have already practiced. You have helped your parents, you have donated blood, you have practiced generosity in various ways. You can think it again and again. Whenever you think about your generosity, it is a place where you can practice a meditation technique in order to purify your mind. Sitting in a place, having a particular posture, then keeping your mind in the present moment, you can think again and again about your generosity, what you have already donated for the people. That is the contemplation of generosity. That is one of the ways that we cultivate our mind. That is very important. That is a meditation object. There are 40 meditation techniques in Buddhism. 40. These are the real friends of yours. If you can associate these 40 meditation techniques from time to time, it means you are living with 40 virtuous friends. And also, after Samatha Bhavana, concentration meditation techniques, one day if we come to the Vipassana Bhavana, insight meditation, based on mindfulness, we meet the best friend. We usually find seeking best friends from the outside world. Actually, best friend is within us. Whenever we practice meditation techniques, it means good friends and our best friend are near us. And this is the very correct vision in the first level. With this understanding, we practice generosity, not only that we practice virtue or sila, moral conduct, discipline in our speech and behavior. What is that? Especially, we practice 5 precepts, 5 human qualities. You know the 5 precepts? Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from false speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs that causes heedlessness. These are the 5 human values, 5 moral qualities. If you practice these 5 qualities, you are an honorable person. You are honored in this society. You are respected by the society. And also you give the fearlessness for the world. He who practices 5 precepts gives the fearlessness for the world. Nobody is afraid of you whenever you practice these 5 qualities. If your husband practices these qualities, you are happy, you are confident in him. If your wife practices these 5 qualities, you are confident in your wife. If your children practice these 5 qualities, you are confident in your children. If your father and mother, if your parents practice these 5 qualities, you are confident in your parents. You have no fear, no any problem with them. Moral life, practicing 5 precepts. This is the second meritorious act. Not only we practice these 5 precepts, we can practice it as a meditation technique. What is that? We think again and again about our moral life. I am a person who practices 5 precepts. We think it again and again. Sitting in a particular posture, keeping our mind in the present moment, we are contemplating on thus I practice these 5 qualities in our life. Again and again we think it. That is the place where we can concentrate our mind in the present moment. Sila, the second meritorious act. And next one, bhavana or meditation. Especially here we practice samatha bhavana. We practice here metta bhavana, loving kindness meditation. Recollecting thus on may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. We spread metta mental states for everyone who are in this world. According to this practice, by using these 3 meritorious deeds, we gradually purify our mind from craving and anger. And also finally we come to equanimity, 𝒶𝓃𝓾. The more we practice these qualities, the more we are happier. He who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. He who practices 5 precepts gains a lot of happiness. He who practices metta bhavana gains a lot of happiness. That happiness is in this present moment. That happiness is not in the future. The vision we have, the mission we have, the mission we have, the result we have. Vision mission and result as well. Even though we are reaching the final destination, still we are on the path of happiness. We have started our happy life. Always we think our character, our life. I am a person who practices generosity, who practices forgiveness, who practices metta bhavana. Always we live with meritorious deeds. Not only these 3 meritorious deeds, we can practice a lot of meritorious deeds in our life. We can see them in the Mangala Sutta, the discourse of blessings. There is a very special discourse which is Mangala Sutta. Please read that discourse. It comes in 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶 and Sutta Nipata. Mangala Sutta, the discourse of blessings. There you can see the real blessings in your life. If you help your parents, that is a supreme blessing. If you listen to Dhamma, if you discuss in Dhamma, if you avoid some negative thoughts, if you respect others, if you practice generosity, if you practice gratitude, so on, there are a lot of blessings I explained there. With this understanding, this is the first step of right understanding or correct vision. This vision is based on the conventional truth in the mundane level. This can be seen not only in Buddhism, but even other religious people also have explained these qualities. Who are well educated, who have good qualities, they also practice these qualities. As a result of this path, no matter whether you believe next birth or not, as soon as you passed away, you will receive a blissful life. Because of your pure mind, as soon as you pass away, you will receive a blissful life in the human realm or heavenly realm or Brahma realm. This is the result. This is the vision, this is the mission, this is the result. Now we keep in one side the first right understanding, which based on the mundane level. Now we come to the second level of vision. That is the unique. This vision can be seen only in the Dhamma, in Buddha's message. There, Dhamma explains the nature of the world. What happens to our life at this moment? What is the nature of our life? Our entire life is that 6 internal senses, 6 external objects, and 6 consciousnesses, 18 elements. We have 6 senses: eye, ear, nose, our tongue, body, and mind. And according to these senses, we have 6 external objects such as form, sound, smell, so on. And also according to these objects, we receive 6 consciousnesses: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, so on. Finally, mind consciousness. Every moment, these elements arise and cease. At once, one sense acts, When we contact something, immediately we receive I form, I consciousness, I sensation, I mental formations, and also they immediately see finally, based on this physical world, we understand something through our mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. We mostly live with our mind consciousness. It doesn't mean that there is no material world. Actually, there is a material world. Dhamma explains, when we see the arising of 5 aggregates, our entire life is that the 5 aggregates. What they are? Rupa, form or corporeality, Vedana, sensation, Sanya, perception, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana, consciousness. Form, sensation, Sanya, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Every moment, these 5 things arise and cease. If a person sees the arising of these 5 aggregates, he doesn't go to the extreme of nihilism or annihilism. He doesn't say that there is no world, there is no material world. If a person sees the arising of these 5 aggregates, and also if that person sees the cessation of these 5 aggregates, immediately these 5 aggregates not only arise, they cease at the moment. If a person sees the cessation of these 5 aggregates, he doesn't go to the extreme of eternalism, Sasvatavada. If we think there is a world, that is an extreme. If we think there isn't a world, that is also an extreme. The entire world depends on these both extremes, eternalism and annihilism or nihilism. Buddhism rejects both of these extremes. If we see that there is a world, that is an extreme. If we see that there isn't a world, that is an extreme. Without going to both of extremes, we find the correct vision, the theory, which is the causality or the dependent origination. When this is, this is, when this is not, this is not. This is the highest understanding that we should gain through listening to Dhamma. The Dhamma says, if someone says that there is a world, that is an extreme. If a person says that there isn't a world, that is an extreme. For an example, when I make this sound, what do we say? If there is this sound or aren't? There is this sound or there isn't? Is this sound or not? Both of answers are incorrect. If you say that there is sound, you can show it. The sound has gone. If you don't say that there is no sound, we can show it. Here. What is the real answer? When these causes are together, the sound appears here. When these causes disappear, the result, the sound also disappears. With this understanding, we don't go to the extremes of eternalism or nihilism. This is the vision that we should gain. When you go to the glass mirror, you can see your reflection there. As soon as you go to the mirror, immediately your reflection appears there. It was not here before you go there. And also when you leave the mirror, your reflection doesn't remain there. When you go there, immediately when causes are together, the reflection appears there. When the causes disappear, the reflection which is on the mirror also gradually disappears. Our entire life is like that. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we eat something, when we experience something through our body, all the experiences arise at the moment with the conditions. When conditions cease, the experience also immediately ceases at the present moment. But very important thing, when we do some activities, our previous experience influences the present moment will influence the next moment too. There is a connection. But it doesn't go from here to here. This is the ultimate truth. This is the highest vision we should gain through listening to Dhamma. This truth based on the ultimate truth in the supramundane level. When we come to this level, we don't create new karma that causes to our next birth. Without this vision, we can cultivate good qualities. We can succeed in our life. We can receive a blissful life hereafter. Even though you don't have this vision, don't worry. Your life is successful. You can do good deeds. You can spend your life happily. But the thing is, you can't overcome the samsaric circle, and also you are unable to overcome the suffering of decay, sickness, aging, death. If we want to overcome the suffering of decay, sickness, aging, separation, we have to come to this vision. As soon as we come to this vision, we understand, whenever I understand something in this material world, we can contact something at the moment. But when we understand something, we understand everything through my mind consciousness. We can contact this flower at this present moment. The color comes to my eye. The beauty belongs to my eye and eye consciousness, so finally mind consciousness. But when I keep my hand is unable to read the color or beauty. That color, that beauty depends on my sight, my eyes. That also finally depends on my mind consciousness. When I understand the beauty of these flowers, the very first experience has completely ceased. I understand my mind completely, read in my mind consciousness. With this understanding, I don't go to the world finding these flowers. If we find the flowers in the material world, I have to face some problems when the flower gradually comes to decay. With this understanding, I can experience the beauty. I can see the beauty. I can enjoy the beauty. But I enjoy the world without suffering, since my mind doesn't depend on the material world. Then we see the world as empty. Always we experience the empty world. We contact the world which consists with the four fundamental elements: solidity, fluidity, heat and motion. We contact the world with these four fundamental elements. But when we experience the world, when we understand the world, these four fundamental elements have completely ceased. If we come to this understanding, immediately our mind has gone from the material world. It means we have no suffering with the material world. We don't face the suffering of decay, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, grief. All the sufferings are away from us. This is the vision that we should gain through listening to Dhamma. When you understand this reality, you can gain some kind of understanding. But if you don't trust it, if you don't confident in this reality, your understanding is that's all. You don't go forward. If your understanding comes to the trust, the confidence, if you are confident in this reality as it is, then your understanding comes to the 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃, the wisdom of hearing. We can read a lot of Buddhist books, Dhamma books. We can listen to a lot of sermons. You are rich in understanding. But if you don't trust it, if you don't confident in, that is just a fact. If you can receive an address, if you keep it somewhere, then you don't go to the destination, just an address. When you receive an address from your friend, if you trust it, if you are confident in that address, you start your journey. Then gradually you can reach the destination. If you are confused, you don't go to the destination. But the very important thing, when you reach the destination, you don't need to trust in your friend. You don't need to be confident in the address, since you see the place when you reach the destination. Dhamma also like that. Firstly, we should be confident in. This is the reality. But this is not a blind faith. This is a confidential truth. When we think it again and again, we understand it. We mostly live in the past experience. When we go somewhere, always we look at front, but we are here. When we sit somewhere, we can't see the place where we are sitting. If you want to place you are sitting here, what should you do? You should stand. Then you can see the place where you are sitting, or where were you sitting? Where were you sitting? You can see the place where you are sitting. When you stand here, you can see the place where you were sitting. While you are sitting, you can see the place where you are sitting. When you drive, you can see the place now you are in. You are on the wheels, but you are looking at front. Looking at front, we are driving. But we think that we are there. When we eat something, when we enjoy some food, we look at the food which is on the plate. But food is inside, mouth. Until someone says this reality, even this reality you haven't understood. We mostly think that when we are eating, the food is in the plate. Is it true? No, whenever we enjoy some food, that food is not in the plate. That food was in the plate. Now that food is in your mouth. If we see that reality, never we have attachment for the food which is in the mouth. But we can enjoy the food. If we know this reality, never we have attachment for the food which is in the mouth. Never we steal the food which is in the mouth. Always we steal the food which is in the plate or which is in the fridge. Never we steal the food which is in the mouth. Is the food which is in the plate is tasty? No. The food is in your plate or in the fridge is not tasty. That food is not delicious. That arises in the mouth. If that food is very delicious, please blend some food and keep your belly through here. Then you can see whether it is delicious. No, the taste arises in the mouth. It arises at the moment. That is instant. Our entire life is like that. We create the world at the present moment. The present experience didn't come to the present from the past. The present experience will not go to future from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment. And also very important thing that we should realize is that we always enjoy the world, not the material world, but the mental world, our mind consciousness. The very important thing is, with this understanding, when we come to this practice, without changing anything in the external world, just changing our perception, we can associate the world. That is the very important thing. When we see some unpleasant thing, if we want to perceive it as pleasant, we can do it. When we see some pleasant thing, if we want to perceive it as unpleasant, we can think it. Not only that, very important thing, if we want to live equanimously without the repulsive and unrepulsive, we can do it. Finally, we live equanimously. But if we want to live in this world, enjoying the world, we can do it. But we live in the wisdom, seeing the arising and ceasing of the world, and also seeing the cessation of world, seeing the world as empty, we can associate the world. That is the highest result. This is the correct vision we should gain in the highest level, based on the supramundane level, in the ultimate truth. With this understanding, immediately we come to practice. If we trust in this message, that understanding comes to the 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶, the wisdom of hearing. Then we come to 𝒭𝒨𝒻, the wisdom of thinking, the wisdom of contemplating. And also finally we come to 𝐵ාවනාමය, the wisdom of meditation. In this level, wisdom can be divided into three. 𝒭තමය, the wisdom of hearing, and චින්තාමය, the wisdom of thinking or contemplating on, and also භාවනාමය, the wisdom of meditation, by practicing insight meditation. Firstly, we come to the wisdom of hearing. If we can listen to this message, having this understanding, if we trust in this reality as it is, then we have saddha or confidence. Confidence is the foundation of all the wholesome activities, all the spiritual facts, spiritual faculties. In the Dhamma, it says as saddha mūlika sabbepi kusala Dhamma in Pali language. Saddha or confidence is the foundation of all the spiritual faculties. That confidence comes to our inside through our skin, through our skeleton, through our muscles. Then we have energy. What is that energy? What is that confidence? If we don't have this experience and understanding, we have to suffer with the world. If our mind depends on the material world, when the material world changes, we have to become the suffering of the material world. Therefore, immediately I should go forward, avoiding this world. Whenever our mind depends on the material world or persons, we are with the suffering of aging, decay, sickness, death, separation from the beloved one, associating from the unpleasant one, and not having what we want. These are the sufferings that we face whenever our mind depends on the material world. Whenever we can release our mind from the material world, immediately we can release from these sufferings from our mind. With this understanding, we immediately come to practice. We start this spiritual practice with saddha or confidence, then we have energy, virya, and then we come to sati or right mindfulness. Again and again we are aware of our body, sensations, consciousness, and mind formations, mental formations. We keep our attention in the present moment based on breathing meditation. We are aware of our body, breathe in body in and out. And we understand that this breathing arising and ceasing at the moment. This breathing is based on our physical body. When this physical body ceases, this breath also gradually ceases. Then we go to the next level, the Vedanupassana, the contemplation of sensations. Even though I have some sensations, this sensation arises because of contact. When contact ceases, the sensation also ceases at the moment. Then we come to consciousness. This consciousness or mind also arises at the moment. It immediately ceases at the moment. Then we come to Dhammanupassana, the contemplation of mental formations. Those also arise at the moment with the conditions of some causes. They also cease at the moment. Everywhere, every moment, we see the world as impermanent, anicca. Every moment, everywhere, they arise at the moment, they cease at the moment. Arising, ceasing, arising, ceasing. It is not just changing, but it has a deep meaning. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. The previous experience didn't come to the present. The present experience will not go to future from the present. It arises and ceases at the moment. Then we live in the present moment. We see the beauty of our life based on mindfulness in the present moment. Then we have no regrets in our past. We have no wishes in the future. We are satisfied in the present moment. Then contentment is the greatest treasure. Happiness or contentment is the greatest treasure. That treasure is not in the future. With this understanding, if we come to this practice, immediately we start our contentment, satisfaction, happiness in this present moment. That happiness doesn't depend on anything in the material world or persons. That happiness completely depends on our wisdom, our understanding, our practice, which is mindfulness. Again and again we listen to this message. While we are listening to this message, we are practicing it. Here also, while you are listening to this message, you are practicing here. You are in practice. When Buddha was living, a lot of disciples who were listening to this message, they attained enlightenment while they were listening to this message, while they are opening their eyes. Not only they were opening their physical eyes, but they were opening the eyes of wisdom. Venerable Sariputta, who was the main disciple, he attained Sotapanna, the stream entry, when he was listening to Dhamma. When 5 ascetic monks, the Panchavagya Bhikkhu, they attained Sotapanna, stream entry, while they were listening to Dhamma. Venerable Sariputta attained enlightenment, arahantship, when he was listening to Dhamma. The 𝒮𝓃 Bhikkhu, the 5 ascetic people, they attained enlightenment while they were listening to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma is a place where we attain enlightenment. Not only listening to Dhamma, but even preaching Dhamma also a place where we can attain enlightenment. One day a monk was preaching Dhamma for the monks, other monks. That monk who was preaching Dhamma, he was an arahant, not arahant, he was an anagami. In the 3rd level of spirituality. The monk who was preaching Dhamma was an anagami. The monks who were listening to Dhamma, they were the common monks. There were 60 monks there who were listening to Dhamma. While that monk named 𝒮𝓾, the 𝒮𝓾 monk's name is 𝒮𝓾. When the Bhante 𝒮𝓾 was preaching Dhamma, end of the sermon, what happened? The 60 monks attained arahantship, enlightenment. At the same time, the monk Bhante 𝒮𝓾, who was preaching Dhamma, who was anagami, he also attained enlightenment. There are 61 monks who became the enlightenment at the same time while the sermon was happening. Listening to Dhamma is a place where we can attain enlightenment. Not only that, but even preaching Dhamma also a place where we can attain enlightenment. While we are listening and preaching, while we are opening our eyes. Yes, any question?
How do you integrate knowing this in the daily life? Because maybe I have to plan for a dentist's appointment or something. If I'm always in the present, how do I?
Yes, very good question. Yes, actually, we are planning something in the future. It doesn't matter. But we live in the present moment. We can focus a flash. When we go in the darkness, we can focus flash. But we know that I am holding it. We don't throw our flashlight. Holding that flashlight, we can focus anywhere, in the past or future. Yeah? Yesterday I came here with my friend by my car, by train. We can focus the past. But we know that I am living in the present moment. And also we can focus our flashlight for the future, the day after tomorrow. Next week, I go there, I will meet my mom, I will go to the hospital, I will have the exam, I get ready everything. But I practice mindfulness in the present moment. I enjoy the present moment. While I am practicing and enjoying the present moment, we can arrange everything. But the very important thing, we think that happiness is not in the future. Happiness is in the present moment. That future comes to the present. Then we are happy in the present too. It means we have succeeded in our future too. Having this understanding, we can do more things. If you have this understanding, we do many things for our future. But we do everything based on the Dhamma. We do everything correctly, righteously, honestly. But very important thing is, always we know that I live in the present moment. Memory is not the fault. When we practice mindfulness, our memory gradually increases. Memory is not the fault. What is the fault? The fault is that ignorance. What is the ignorance? If we live in the past without mindfulness, that is the ignorance. If we live in the future without mindfulness, that is the ignorance. That is the cause of suffering. Planning our future is not the problem. We do it very correctly, but we do everything being in the present moment. With this understanding, we can plan many things for our future. Now we plan some things for our life until we pass away. But with this understanding, we plan something for our entire samsaric journey. That is the very important thing. With this understanding, we reflect on in the future, not only I should go to the exam, but sometimes I have to go to hospital, even though now I am healthy. Next week, I may be sick. Next week, not only I should go to my university, but sometimes I have to die next week. That also will be planned by us. How we should face that situation when we face those difficulties, we plan everything. Before that, we get the results in this immediate moment by practicing Dhamma. Actually, when we come to this Dhamma, we plan not only for our exams, for our jobs, but we plan how we face when we get sick, how we face our death without suffering, how I face the separations of my beloved ones. We plan for them. We make strong our mind in order to face those difficulties when we have this understanding. That is the real plan. That is the spiritual plan. Now we have only the worldly plans about our exams, our jobs, our relatives, our weddings. We plan these things in this moment. But after we come to this understanding, we plan our entire samsaric journey, how we overcome suffering while we are fulfilling our day-to-day activities, our responsibilities. We successfully plan our future. Now we think that everything will happen successfully in the future. When we come to this understanding, we know very well, not only successful things, happy things will happen in the future, but even some suffering things also will happen in the future. We make our mind strong in this present moment in order to face those difficulties, challenges without suffering. That is the real plan in our life. Any question? Any other question? Yes, we were discussing about the vision in the mundane level with the understanding of the karmic level, and also we discussed the understanding of the second level based on the ultimate truth with the arising of 5 aggregates and the cessation of 5 aggregates. This second level understanding based on the ultimate truth, when we come to this second understanding, the Sammaditthi, the right understanding in the supramundane level. Here we understand the dependent origination, 5 aggregates, and the Four Noble Truths as well. These 3 things are interrelated in the wisdom of the highest level. The more we understand the dependent origination, arising and ceasing of 5 aggregates, we understand 5 aggregates too. When we understand 5 aggregates, it means we understand the Four Noble Truths, suffering, the arising of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the path that leads to getting rid of suffering. And also when we understand the arising of suffering, it means avidya paccaya sankhara, so on. With the arising of ignorance, mental formations arise. That is the ascending order of the dependent origination. When there is no ignorance, no mental formations, no consciousness, there we understand the descending order of the dependent origination. The dependent origination, Four Noble Truths, and the 5 aggregates. These 3 things are interrelated in the second level of Sammaditthi, or right understanding, which is the highest level of wisdom. With this vision, we come to practice mission, right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, the Noble Eightfold Path. Especially here we practice right mindfulness based on this understanding. Mindfulness is the mission. What is the result? What is the result? The more we practice this path, the more we reduce craving or attachment or greed. Our mind is so generous with this understanding. And also, when we practice sila or virtue, moral conduct, our mind is so pure and calm. We do good activities always, physically and verbally. And also, when we practice samatha bhavana, gradually we reduce hindrances, sensual pleasure, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, skeptical doubts. These are the 5 hindrances that disturb our peace of mind. When we practice this path, we gradually reduce these negative thoughts from our mind. As the result of reducing these hindrances from our minds, we gradually cultivate the facts of jhana, vitakka, initial application, vichara, sustained applications, piti, joy, sukha, happiness, ekaggata, one-pointedness, and finally we gradually come to equanimity, upekkha, equanimity. When we see this reality, we gradually come to equanimity. We live equanimously, without suffering. In the mundane level, we can gain equanimity with the jhana. Not only that, when we come to the highest level, in the supramundane level, there also we can see equanimity. That equanimity is based on wisdom. When we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our mentality and corporeality, we understand the world as empty. The world is empty at this moment when I recognize something. There we come to the real, the highest position, equanimity, upekkha. That upekkha is based on wisdom, reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing of 5 aggregates. These are the results. Vision, mission and result. Vision means in the mundane level about the karmic law, and the supramundane level with the understanding of the arising and ceasing of this world based on the Patisampada or the divine origination. Then we practice mission, mindfulness based on the Noble Eightfold Path. Finally, we come to the results reducing craving, anger and delusion. Finally, we completely eradicate ignorance one day by practicing this path. What is that ignorance? If we think that there is a world, that is an ignorance. When we see that there is no world, that is an extreme and ignorance. Without going to these extremes and ignorances, we completely come to the practice, reflecting on impermanence, arising and ceasing. Then we understand every moment this world arises and ceases. Then we don't depend on anything in the outside material world or persons, and even inside in our mind consciousness too. Our mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. That is also impermanent. With this understanding, we go forward slowly, mindfully, silently. Slowly, mindfully, silently. SMS. There especially we practice noble silence. The more we come to Dhamma, the more we are silent. Even though externally we are silent, but internally we are reflecting on Dhamma. We are busy inside by reflecting on Dhamma. Our inside, we are with the spiritual faculties. We are full with the spiritual faculties. Four Noble Truths, 7 Enlightenment Factors, Fourfold Mindfulnesses, 4 Powers, Noble Eightfold Path. These are the spiritual factors that which we are here. We are with. Every moment we enjoy our life. Our most valuable moment in our life is that the present moment. That not just present moment, but the present moment based on mindfulness and practicing the spiritual faculties. Every moment in our life we enjoy. That is not sensual enjoyment, but that is spiritual enjoyment. By reflecting on Dhamma, by practicing Dhamma, especially based on mindfulness. Have you any questions? We have come to the end. Yes?
I have a question. But it's kind of to what Bhante said at the beginning about 6 consciousnesses. So I wanted to ask if I understood correctly, and so it's like there are 6 consciousnesses, but the fully enlightened person, so Arhata Buddha, sees that all the other 5 were just mind consciousness all along, or?
Yes, very important question. We have to explain many things when we discuss that question. The very important thing, mind consciousness can be explained in various ways. In one mind consciousness, we can say in the result level, mind objects and mental formations, mind consciousness. there also we can see a mind consciousness. That mind consciousness is based on the result level. As a result of our previous experience, we receive something here, the present moment, mind consciousness. We have eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, so finally mind consciousness. That mind consciousness based on the result level, vipaka level. That is common for everyone. That is common for worldly people, 𝒶𝓃 persons, even Arahantas, even Buddha. That is same for everyone. But very important thing, we understand something not through this primary level mind consciousness, but we understand that again we create this new karma mind consciousness that can be explained in various ways. As 𝒮𝓾𝓾, as worldly persons, we take that mind consciousness as the present one, as the previous one. We take the previous one as the present one. But we don't know the difference between the result level mind consciousness and now present mind consciousness. Actually, the present mind consciousness is the new karma. After cessation of the previous experience, again we create the mind consciousness in the present moment. That mind consciousness can be seen in various ways. In 𝒮𝓾𝓾 persons, he lives in the past experience still because of ignorance. And also the 𝒶𝓃 persons who have already come to some levels of spirituality, not yet arahantship, he reflects on this consciousness as impermanent. Since he is on the path of liberation, practicing Eightfold Path, he reflects on this mind consciousness as impermanent. But in firstly, he take it with ignorance. But because of he is on the path, immediately he reflects on as impermanent. The Arahantas, when we come to arahantship, immediately we understand something which happened in the past. We understand, now I understand everything through my mind consciousness at the present moment. That mind consciousness also arising and ceasing at the moment. In this level, we can see in several places, we can see mind consciousness in the vipaka level or result level. The person who are worldly in the world as 𝒮𝓾𝓾 and the 𝒶𝓃 and the Arahanta. Mind consciousness we can see in the primary level as a result of our previous actions. After it ceased, we again take it as me, as my, as myself with ignorance. Then we live still in the past experience. But we are creating new karma. And also 𝒶𝓃 person who come to Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagama, he is reflecting on his mind consciousness as impermanent, as dissatisfactory, as selfless. He is still practicing. Arahant, he also has the mind consciousness. Not only he has mind consciousness, but he has 6 consciousnesses in the vipaka level. But he knows very well those 6 senses, 6 consciousnesses have completely ceased at the moment. He doesn't take anything as they are in this moment. He knows very well those things are completely ceased. When I look at this microphone, I think that I take is this has ceased. We have to think it again and again. But Arahanta doesn't need to think it. Immediately when he look at it, he knows that the formal world has ceased. He lives completely in the mind consciousness. That mind consciousness completely based on mindfulness and wisdom. When we go to the mirror, we don't need to reflect on that. Now I come here, when I come to here, then reflection arises. When I go away, when I leave the mirror, the reflection ceases. We don't need to think. As soon as we go to the mirror, we know very well at the moment the reflection arises here. Whenever we leave, immediately it ceases. We don't need to reflect on it. The Arahant also like that. He doesn't need to reflect on impermanence. As soon as he experiences something, he knows very well the material world has completely ceased. But for his satisfaction, he again and again reflects on this reality, but he doesn't think it again and again. That is his entire lifestyle.
So a Puthajjana reflects in his mind what has been in the past, but sees, but is ignorant of what he's doing.
It's okay.
I wanted to say that ask if I understand correctly, that Puthajjana, the mind of Puthajjana reflects what has ceased, like kind of makes a copy of what it did and reflects on what is going on now, and engages with it instead of the six senses that are immediate.
Puthujjana means worldly person like we. I am also Puthujjana still. We all are here, but we have differences according to our understanding. Then it means the Puthujjana, the nature of the Puthujjana, always he takes the form. There is some form in this world. Even though I consciousness has completely ceased, still he thinks that there is a world here. And also always when he lives in this world, he thinks that there is a world around me. Whether I know or not, whether I look at or not, the world is here. Before I was born here, there was a world. When I live, there is a world. After I live, the world will remain. Before I was born, there was a world. When I am living, there is a world around me. After I will die, the world will remain. That is the thing the Puthujjana person thinks. Always, after finishing something, after cessation something, still he thinks that there is something here. For an example, when we go to the mirror, we know very well the reflection arises there at the moment. When our dog or cat goes to the mirror, what he thinks? He thinks that before he went to there was someone there. He looked at it. And also, even though he came out, he came here, he thinks that still it is there. We are like that. In the mirror, we are not ignorant, but any other places we are ignorant. We think that before I experience something, there is something, my senses were here. When we understand something, our senses are here. After the experience finished, still my senses here in the same way. Still the things are here in this way. That is the way how Puthujjana person thinks. That is why he depends on the material world. That is why he is suffering when the world changes. Again and again we discuss the same thing. Then we can understand the more things. There are some deep things. Actually, already I am explaining the very primary stage of the Dhamma, but in next few days we are discussing the deep meaning of these things, especially when we discuss the some special thing, contact, sensation, mind or consciousness, mental formations, and feelings. These words are same as words, but the meanings are different from place to place. Vedana, sanya, chetana, passa, manasikara. Vedana, feelings or sensations. Sanya, perception. Chetana, mental formations. Consciousness. And ekagata, one-pointedness. These things can be explained in various places. In the vipaka level or result level, in the puthajjana level, in the seka level, in the arahant level. The words are same, but meanings are different from place to place. That is very important. Consciousness, mental formations, mind consciousnesses, these words are different from place to place. According to Four Noble Truths, these things are different. The words are same. Vedana or sensation, sanya perceptions, mental formations, the words are same everywhere, but meanings are different. Gradually, when we listening to Dhamma again and again, we can understand actually those things are not difficult. Don't worry about it. We can gradually understand. The very important thing is that while we are listening to and analyzing Dhamma, we should be in practice. Don't think that after I understand something, I will practice Dhamma in the future. No, while you are listening to Dhamma, we have to practice it. Metta bhavana and mindfulness, breathing meditation. Again and again, every moment, please try to keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. That is the very first step of mindfulness, the sign of mindfulness, sati nimitta. Keeping your attention in this area, do everything. It means you are in the present moment. When you remember something which happened in the past, be aware of that. Now I am reading my mind, not the actual thing. I am reading something which happened in the past. When you plan something in the future, please be aware of that. Now I am living in the present moment. I am planning something for future. It's okay. Having this understanding, having this awareness in the present moment, we do all activities and gradually we come to metta bhavana. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When we do something, when we speak something, when you think something, do everything with metta. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Not only that, please try to practice insight meditation no matter whether you are opening your eyes or not. The insight meditation is very important. While you looking at something, the formal world has completely ceased. When you recognize the sound, the gun sound, when you have lunch time, you hear the gun sound. As soon as you listening to sound, the bell, understand. Now I understand the bell sound and lunch through my mind consciousness, not through the physical world. So on little by little, practice Dhamma. When you look at me, you understand this person not through your eye consciousness, but through your mind consciousness. When I feel your seat, you feel your seat with your body, not through your body consciousness, but through your mind consciousness. You contact something through your body consciousness, but when you understand it, the body consciousness has already ceased. We understand it through my mind consciousness. That mind consciousness also arises and ceases at the moment. While we are improving our understanding by listening to Dhamma, we should practice Dhamma at this present moment. The more we practice Dhamma, the more we enjoy our life, the more we have satisfaction, the more we are happy. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of this spirituality that we accrue through listening to Dhamma and discussing Dhamma, we acquired a lot of positive thoughts. By the power of this spirituality, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May all your spiritual and educational goals meet its success. Finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sadhu. Dukkham pantāca nirdukkha, bhayam pantāca nirbhayam, sokam pantāca nissokam, hontu sabbe pipanino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful.